I don't mean to be too loud. Oh, very sorry. Start off with a dragon this morning. You can tell we've shot him a few times. Oh, there we go. Come on. There we go. We're just working on him. Doing the best we can. I was just exploring for fun. I didn't really mean to get a dragon, but that's alright. I'm not sure my proper aiming is always working. Either that or my shooting leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, yeah, when he's in the air, I purposefully aim where I'm hoping he'll go. But when he's on the ground and I'm aiming at him, that's pretty bad. Did you see that? That did not. That didn't look like that hit him at all. Yeah, I've decided for dragon fights I about have to use something other than magic. Magic takes way too... Oh, he disarmed me. Did you see that? He got my weapon. Ow, and he's chewing on me. Let me move for a minute. Oh. This was not what I had in mind for this morning. Not that it matters what I had in mind. Once the dragon starts, I think Flamey just like shot me in the back with a fireball. I'm surprised. I think my dead thralls are still there. Run out of time. That's okay. Can't tell if I'm hitting half the time, to be honest. I think Flamey is still hitting me with fireballs, so I'm gonna move so that I don't take that all the time. Oh, the undead thrall is tanking. Oh no, the undead thrall is dead. Yep. Saw that. That's okay, they had kind of outlived their usefulness, or unlived, or undead, or whatever. Alright, we got the dragon down. Frosty, what are you doing, man? Frosty is so... I don't know. I had another undead thrall too, but I think, well, I can't tell. I'm getting a little frame. Yep, she's dead too. That's okay. I don't really need them following me around. They go, and it's so annoying. I was really thinking of dropping that. See if I can find that. Yeah, dropping that. It's annoying having them go around and go, At least these guys are quiet. Well, relatively. Frosty's a pretty loud walker. But still. They're easy to dismiss when I'm ready to get rid of them. Simple sword. Da, 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 and boom. I'll see you later. See you later. And see you later. And so that's easy enough to do there. Alright, well this wasn't really what I had in mind. What I thought I would do this morning, actually, is go over my load order. The only thing is, pardon me, I'm having some coffee. The only thing is I downloaded a couple of work in progress mods. I have no idea what they do. And I'm seriously thinking about getting rid of them because we won't know what they do. Is there somebody up there? There is somebody up here. Oh wait, I got a better idea. Put that away for a minute. I don't think he can kill me anyway, but I don't know why he's here. It's only here. Let's see how long it takes to kill him. Oh, he's a Boethiah dude. Let's just burn him. No, not enough. There. Huh. Well, I don't know what that was about. He came up. Did he come from up here? By the way, just so you know where I'm at, I'm over here at the last vigil. I'm just fooling around. I just come up here to see what things would look like up here and see if we could get a look around. Anyway, I was going to go over, before he so rudely interrupted us, I was going to go over our the load order I was using. Specifically want to go over my character mods and some other things, just because people are, well, generally asking, because you wouldn't watch if you weren't interested. So, let me just do, I'm going to do a save here. Alright, so, I'm actually going to exit and we're going to go look at the mod list in the mods portion of the menu. I know it tends to play a little music. I'm hoping it will not be sufficient to give me any issues. But nonetheless, really, this is probably the easiest way to show you the mods I'm using. Pardon me. These are the two. I'm running 146 mods right now. 146 mods. Okay, so these two I just downloaded for fun. I really don't know what these are going to do. I don't know what these do at all. But I thought we would try them out if I can figure out what they do. The problem with these is with the lack of description, it's hard for me to know. So, but if I look at my load order, the load order I'm running right now, and as always, my load order is somewhat subject to change, because I'm always testing and trying things out. And so I have the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition, you know, patch. It fixes all kinds of things, and I can't even tell you all of them that it fixes. So I consider that one to be, even though it's 400 and some meg, I consider it to be pretty essential. Though a lot of mods you have don't require it. I just feel like with the things it fixes, it's worth having. cutting room floor, it brings back some things from the game that they were kind of left hanging around in the game, but they weren't active. Again, I can't tell you what everything is, but they have a list you can go look at and find out exactly what they're restoring to the game. I always keep it here right under the patch because it's just easier for me. Below that, I have the increased population mods because even though this is not the normal place you'd put such things, this is where the modder says to put them, is up towards the top. So I put them up here. This seems to be working for me, so I would recommend that you follow the modder's instruction. Most of the times you should probably follow the modder's instructions. Sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes I feel like a modder just kind of throws something in, but like when sometimes they say a little too often, oh, put it down at the bottom. And that's because that's the safest bet. And I understand that. So it's, even though they may say it a little too often, at the same time, your safest bet for a lot of mods is to put it in the bottom. But not every mod, not all the time. There are exceptions to that. And those you really find out through testing. And it can be a bit of a pain. I'm sorry, I'm froggy this morning. I'm trying to have my coffee. Anyway. This is just Namira for good guys, so you don't have to sacrifice. Let's see, is this right? It allows you to complete the Taste of Death without sacrificing the priest, yeah. The Atronachs dilemma, of course, that's just to help you get out of killing Atronachs, and you don't get the you don't get the old guys at high Hrothgar mad at you, and you don't get the blades mad at you. I don't know if I've fully tested this out yet, but anyway. This is recruitable Valerica, so that's Serana's mom. It makes her where you can actually ask her to be a follower. Now, it says once and only once you finish the main Dawnguard quest, and she's back at the castle. I think there's a couple of cheats around that, as long as you have this mod, but it could mess up your other quests. So I've done it where what I'm doing is I use, like from the cheat room, I use the spell to set her as a follower, or use AFT to go ahead and make her a follower early. It could possibly cause you issues, but this mod in itself is okay if you follow their instructions. Return to Skuldolphin. This just allows the Skuldolphin location to stay on your map so that you can go back to it. And that allows you to go back to Sovngarde. So, I've tested going back to Skuldolphin. Did I test going back into Sovngarde? I don't think so. Just for full disclaimer, I should probably get on Elris and do that. This is return. No, we did that. This is Boethiah for good guys. Again, it keeps you you don't have to betray a friend or a follower and kill them to complete the quest. Stones of Baranzia or Baranzai. This just marks them so that you can go pick up all of them. There might be one, I forget which one, I think they mentioned it here. There might be one that doesn't show up for you. But I think they tell you where it's at. Okay, anyway, after reading that, it doesn't really help me. maybe not. Maybe they do all show up. Now there used to be something where one of the stones would not show a marker, but it was one that was easy to get, and that you're probably going to run across anyway, but I forget which one it was. Anyway, there's always dragons. This just turns dragons on, always, even at the start. That's how my girl has dragons on, and she has not started the main quest. This is Dragonborn Delayed. This is so the Dragonborn quest line and all that will not start until after you kill Alduin. And I think that's really the way it should be. That's great. Dawnguard starts at level 40. There is one that starts at level like 20 or 25, but I like the one that keeps it, from starting until 40, because that gives you time to do a bunch of other stuff and get your level up. It just makes more sense. It gives you time to establish yourself and everything. Now this is Kunoichi, I don't know. Anyway, it's an elven player voice replacer. It's only going to replace your character's voice if you're playing a female elf. I liked it, and this is the human version, and I liked that, so I kept those. It just makes them sound a little more realistic, especially in battle. It doesn't do much else, and that's fine. It doesn't need to do much else. Pardon me, still having coffee. This is for my night sky. I use the HD Stars and Galaxies. I just think it looks nice. I've tried some different ones. Most of them do look good, but it just depends on your preference. This is what I liked. Sarcastic Dragons, Dynamic Moons. I like this one, and I've been using it for some time because I like the different... it's really different planets, I guess you get, but regardless. Excuse me. Then display enhancements, I use that to basically increase saturation in my game and give it a little extra contrast. That's really all I do with it. There's a lot more you can do with it, and if you know what you're doing, or if you just want to sit and play around with it, nothing wrong with that. I think this is the same modder that brought us Cheat Room. Excuse me. Anyway, Skyrim Legendary Weathers, not leathers, but weathers. The reason I use this one is that it has no lens flare, and it has no god rays, which I do not like either. Lens flare can almost, well, it can give me a headache, and then god rays, I don't know, I just don't think the way it comes across really looks that realistic. If you've seen in Elder Scrolls Online, or if you've seen in Skyrim when god rays are on, the occasional effect is one thing, but I think it gets overused, and then it doesn't seem realistic. Of course, are we really going for realism? No, we're not. If you look at my other mods, you'll know I'm not. This is the disable eye adaptation and bloom. What I really use this for is to turn the bloom off, because the bloom just adds like a bit of fuzziness to certain items. It doesn't really increase clarity, in my opinion. It depends on what you like, though. Some people will like to leave bloom on, so if you do, that's fine. Don't even use this. I would not recommend turning off the eye adaptation, because then when you move from light to dark and dark to light, sometimes the game will just stop adjusting the lighting, and you'll get stuck in a very bright or very dark type of setting, and it's weird. It doesn't make sense. So amazing follower tweaks, of course. That's to have followers and be able to manage their outfits, and teach them certain spells and remove certain spells, and have them fight in a particular way. enhanced mighty dragons, like the dragon I was just fighting. These dragons will really do a lot more damage. If I wasn't cheating so much, these dragons would just kill me a lot, especially at the low levels. Because I'm playing on Legendary, which might be fun on Legendary just to turn my cheating down, because I'm cheating in my armor and stuff, and just, see how often I die and how funny it is. Okay, so amazing follower tweaks. Is this the boost? This is the boost so that you can have a couple of extra followers. Instead of 5, you can have 7 followers. And then you can, now, and these are regular followers, not like my conjured followers, where I have a perk mod that basically allows me to have unlimited, and we'll get there, and I'll talk about that. But this is just regular followers. You can have up to 7 following you. So if you included that with my conjuration stuff, you could have a good little army following you. And it would be pretty funny. Let's see. Okay, and so my home is your home. Allows you to set the home of your follower so that they can be at your home. Wherever you decide their home is, even. You could make it somewhere so it's not your home. That's a Sky HUD. This is just the UI I prefer. I've gotten used to it again, and I just prefer it. My only thing on it is that it gives you the dot in the center instead of the crosshair. Whereas I've gotten used to that, and I like that. It means the eye for when I'm sneaking and stealthing is lower. It seems a bit odd. That's the only odd adjustment, but it's not awful. Overall, I really like this and keep it. I've kept it a lot now for a while. This is the tailor's measure. This allows you just create it one time at the tanning rack, and then you can basically tell any NPC to change clothes. It gives you certain options. You just have to go through them and learn the menu selections. It's not as hard as even as I'm making it sound. It's pretty easy. It just gives you an extra option with, I shouldn't say every NPC, but it seems like 99.9% of them. I mean, it just, gives you this menu option. Would you like to change your outfit? And you can request that they wear something different, and they will wear it. It doesn't work for kids, so it has to be adult NPCs. Wait, is that true? Actually, I'm going to take that back. It does work for kids. I have used it on kids, so I'm sorry, I misspoke. Okay, this is one of those rare exceptions. This is no generic male vampires. This is R. Smith 7 mod. It's really good. It replaces a lot of the generic male vampires with females. Now, it does some other things. It tries to replace these vampires with models of like Vex and Meow and Serana. So you'll see a lot of your Serana vampire appearance showing up. And most of these vampires end up being, because something about the way they're changed, most of them end up being where they think they're allied with you instead of being enemies to you. So it's a little strange. However, I still really like it. It's funny that they will, in certain caves and everything, they will actually fight and kill their thralls. So, nonetheless, I also like that it adds a couple of vampire followers you can use in the Whiterun Hall of the Dead. And that gives you an idea of what your vampires in Serana and Mjall are going to look like. So it's pretty useful. If you really want your vampires to be full-on aggressive, though, you might not want to use this because, like I said, a lot of the vampires you run into will be these girls, and they will not be aggressive toward you. So they will consider themselves to be allies to you. So Depends on what you want. Unique armors and weapons. This just allows you to craft a lot of, pardon me, a lot of these armors that you usually can't. It puts them under miscellaneous, like you can do the Dark Brotherhood and the Jester and the Thief armors and Nightingale. Pardon me. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if I actually see Tullius and Ulfric's armor in my list, but it doesn't matter. I really don't care about those. I don't use those. All these others I know appear. They probably appear under a name I don't recognize or something. Undress for bed is just that. Everybody like gets down into their underwear and goes to bed. I don't have nude mods, so there's no nudity. This is another little change for amazing follower tweaks. It's so they will not get mad at each other. Your followers will not get mad at each other for friendly fire or AoE attacks. It's not 100% because when you go to like Falscar, if you download that mod into it, they will still have problems. But for the most part, I would say, other than Falscar, it has been working for me. It does not always seem to apply to my conjured Atronachs. So, nothing I can do about that. This is free crafting. Basically, for any vanilla item in the game that you could normally craft, they've taken away any requirements so that, like at the beginning of the game, you can just walk up to any forge and make dragon bone or dragon scale armor. If your skill isn't good, it's still not going to be as good as it will be later, but it still allows you to create anything you want, and you can play looking like you want from the beginning. So there is that advantage. Cutting room floor, this just restores the alteration spell, the shield spells, so that they look like they do in the vanilla game, because cutting room floor actually gives you some weird version of that spell that I guess they decided to remove, and they removed it because they were right. Most people don't seem to like it. It's a weird effect if you don't have this little patch. Craftable clothing. Craftable clothing. I said it right. Okay. Sorry. My mouth is feeling dry. I'm having my coffee, and I feel like I'm not speaking as well. But you can look, and this just allows you at the tanning rack to craft nearly all the clothes here. There's a couple exceptions. Religious amulets are crafted at forges. The arm guards, there's one crafted at the tanning rack and one at the forge. I don't know why that is. So it's a simple mod, but it works really well. It's really nice. No enchantment restrictions. This allows you to place any armor enchantment on any piece of armor. You still cannot put weapon enchants on armor or armor enchants on weapons. That's fine, but you aren't restricted very much on. I think there's a couple of exceptions, but it really removes almost all the restrictions so that you could put carry weight on every piece of armor, or you could put and jewelry. This applies to jewelry as well. And you could put what's something else that's restricted, like you could fortify your one-handed skill and different things like that on every piece of armor. Then we have the 50% more perk points, and basically every 2 levels you receive an additional perk point, which is nice. I just thought that would be fun to have extra perk points. Here we have unlimited enchantments. Now, what this does, pardon me if I sounded weird, what this does is it allows you to put more than 2 enchantments on an item. So you have to update the perk in your perk tree, but in the end, you can put, I think it was pretty much unlimited. Of course, I didn't do every enchant, but I know for certain I was able to put like 10 enchants on every piece of armor and every weapon. I just decided not to go that far. That seemed extreme. But still, I did a lot, and this is what I'm talking about when I said I think I over-cheated. I think I have over-cheated, and I just have way too many good enchantments on my person, and she's basically almost unkillable. This is a balanced leveling system, and this is for destruction mainly. Okay, as a matter of fact, does it do anything other than destruction? I think it's just destruction. It doesn't add any spells, and it just tries to increase, especially your lower level spells, so that they will be more useful later on in the game. Because sometimes you don't want to have to use the big fireball or, you know, one of these big AoE spells because you have guards around and stuff. You want to be able to use a lesser spell and still do good damage. And it kind of makes sense. Superhuman jumping, this is pretty simple. I got the one that's 10 times your normal jump height, so that's so I can jump on top of a lot of things pretty easily and get around. You do have to be careful when you jump down off of something not to kill yourself. The safest bet if you've jumped up on something is, instead of jumping down, is to just drop down and not drop down, you know, way too far. The Magical College of Winterhold. This just updates the college so that it just looks better. It has some little special effects, and what is it? The library. They call it the Arcanium. Is that right? Anyway, it looks good. It looks good. It's very nice. I've kept this for a while because it's a good little mod. Severin Manor tweaks. It just adds a few little things. It does couple little nice things to that house so that it has a little better storage. It always bothered me that there was no storage for my ingredients or anything in that house. Powerful torch. This is a easy little mod that I got, and basically the torch is much stronger than normal, and if you actually block with that torch, you can actually swat them and set them on fire with it, which is kind of funny. Forgotten Dungeons. This is a very good dungeon mod. It adds a lot of dungeons. 49 new Radiant quest enabled and 11 extra. So that's 60 dungeons. That's a lot of dungeons. It's really nice too, because some of them are in Solstheim, like Forgotten Triple Threat. Anyway, it's just they're very nice. The biggest one to remember is the Forgotten River Tomb. It actually contains, because it's huge, and it contains other dungeons like Deadland, Underneath Barrow, Skeleton Sanctuary, Darkside Cave. I mean, it has a lot of pieces to it. It's huge. But it's a very good mod. It's a lot of fun. Then there's Easier Riders Dungeon Pack here. Now this adds, is this 7 now? I think it does 7. Let me look. It adds 7 dungeons now. And you'll notice it's not near as big as the other one. But these are very nice dungeons too. Sorry, I moved too quickly. And I forget what the 2 new ones are, but nonetheless, it's really good, and these dungeons are nice. I keep these 2 dungeon packs all the time because I like their dungeons. Unique Bridges of Skyrim. That's all it is it replaces a lot of the regular old blah bridges with some nice looking bridges. And it uses whatever textures you use, so it looks really good. Cheat room. This is the cheat room mod, which I use for a lot of things. I'm trying to think. It's a really versatile, all-around good mod for a lot of things. It's really hard to tell you all about it. I did do a showcase on how I use it, because I can't show you all its features. I don't even know that I know and remember all its features, but it has a lot of cool stuff you can do, and every now and then I learn more about how to use some of its features, so it's very good. This is the goodies chest, and it also gives you, there's two chests. The goodies chest is something that you can fool around with and play around with. I really recommend you save your game beforehand, because you can really tear your game up, but you can have a really good time with it for a little while, and then you're probably done with that part of it. But the other part of it is to spawn any NPC part of it. Now there are a few NPCs that I think are not actually on this list, but this really does spawn an NPC for you. It does not spawn the NPC in the game. It really makes, even though I think the book in this mod says it does, in my game at least, when I use one of the things to spawn an NPC, it gives me a copy of the NPC. It doesn't really spawn the NPC. Because if I spawn, let's say I spawn Isolde from Whiterun, and then if I let her just walk away, if I let that copy of her walk away, she will go down to the marketplace, and then you'll have two Isoldes running around down there. So, and I used it one time to make, is it Astrid? Is that the Dark Brotherhood girl? Yeah, I made her, a copy of her, a follower, and I still had Astrid in the Dark Brotherhood cave, but then I had Astrid, my follower, and my follower did not suffer the burning and death that the other one did, so that was interesting. That was a good experiment. So it really does not spawn the NPC from your game, it gives you a copy of that NPC. So, Lamppost of Skyrim. I don't know, I just kind of like this idea, so I've kept it so that there's little lampposts on all the roads. You don't have to do that, but I just think it adds a nice, cool little effect. Hall of Ceremony, this is one dungeon. You'll see it's a small mod. The Hall of Ceremony is good sized. The location they give you here is very accurate. Because if you know where Secunda's Kiss, the Giants camp, is, well, you have to go past those giants to get to the Hall of Ceremony. Let's see, your followers will follow you. It's a good dungeon. It's fun. Then here's another one, Forgotten Crypt. I think I've only done this one once. I probably should go back and do it again. It's in an odd place. So, because, let's see, I'm trying to think of, what's the name of that place? It's down, like south of Riften, and I can't remember the name. Is it Broken Helm Hollow that it's near? Something like that. So I hope I'm not telling you wrong. We can look at that again. But, yeah, I can't find where it says that. Can be located to the southeast of Riften. So, yeah. So that's where it is. Okay. So it's a good one too. Now, Call Army's room. This is a good room to go down and test things and play around and fool around. If you have any of the Call Armies mods, like the chest and the Remora thing, and you just want to go down into this room, you can use it as a testing room, and you can just summon armies and summon your followers and just have all-out wars and battles and test yourself and see, am I cheating too much? Am I not cheating enough? And this is something I probably need to look at. But it's actually a lot of fun. It's a good test room for the Call Armies mods, which, like this, where you can call armies of soldiers and dragons and, I forget, Dwemer, robots, and everything. This is the one that allows you to call the Dremora, and you can get a whole bunch of Daedra and Dremora going, and you can also get the Zaster Krulag chicken follower out of this, if you've seen any of my videos on that. Now, crafting supplies all in one. This is a mod that adds like every crafting supply you might want. I'm trying to think if there's any exceptions, unless there's a special mod. But they tried to cover everything they could. They have these supply locations, and they're all in Whiterun. One is right next to the forge on the right-hand side. One is in the Bannered Mare in a sack behind behind the bar is the best way to say it. The other location is up in Dragon's Reach next to, like the enchanting supplies are on the left-hand side of the room as you're coming in the door. They're on your immediate left before you get to Farengar's desk. And then the alchemy supplies are in a little pouch on the alchemy table. So anyway, it contains 1,000 each of everything. So if you take that stuff like I do, I take that stuff and like I've stored a bunch of it in Cheat Room. And then I can just go to Cheat Room and just make whatever I want. Now, Cheat Room does have its own little chest, which has some good supplies, but they recently changed the number to 10. If they changed it to 100, that would be more useful to me, but changing it to 10, I'm kind of like, unless I'm just doing something really small, that's not that helpful. Summonable Skeleton Warrior. This is a great little mod. You can summon those. It actually gives you 3 skeletons. If you notice, it usually gives you a warrior and 2 archers. Let's see, I think this is Imperial Agents mod, and the only thing I don't like about it, though you'll notice I don't like it enough to, or I don't like it enough to not use it. Oh, that's too many negatives. Nonetheless, I like the mod. The only thing I don't like about it is the way you have to get the spell. You have to get a book, and it's just annoying that you have to go get this book, and the book is stealing. Nonetheless, I've shown where that book is at and how to do that before. I'm trying to remember where that is. I don't want to tell you the wrong end, because if I tell you the wrong end and then you go there, you're going to be frustrated. And believe me, I feel your pain when that happens to me. I don't like it either. So I tell you what, we'll have to review that. Because, as you see, this is the only thing I don't like. Imperial Agents mods. The only thing I don't like about his mods is that's his description. Writing that much, he could have easily just said, hey, the book is here. Nonetheless, he wants you to go out and hit his YouTube channel. So, I mean, I want you to go look at my YouTube channel. I kind of understand. Okay, this has become a chair spell. I have not tested this. I want to test it. It will be funny. Okay. This is a Fire Thunder. It's basically Fire, Shock, and Frost in one spell. And it's a channel. And you used to be able to do this in Oblivion, but they they didn't allow for that kind of spell crafting in Skyrim. So I'm checking my time. Okay, and so this is the new armor replacer that I'm using. It is a work in progress, and it's test, and so far I've not seen any true flaws with it, but I don't look as closely as maybe some people do, but it's really good. Right now I'd recommend it, but I know it's not done yet, so if you're not comfortable with a work in progress, then I would say stick with Spartan Wolf's armor for now, because his armor mod is really good. Cloaks and capes. Adds cloaks and capes. It's nice. If you use Frostfall or Survival, you'll like it. I like the fact they tell you which slot it's going to use, which is cool, because I don't always know what slots things are going to use. And I don't always use these a lot, but when I'm in the mood for that kind of role play, it's really nice to have that option. Arming swords. These are some historically correct European blades. What that means exactly, I don't know, but they look very good and very realistic. I have considered dropping this mod because I don't seem to be doing a lot of sword play lately, but I don't know. Maybe I will switch something up. The current girl I'm doing, I was doing a lot of casting and I wanted to do more conjuration. I don't know. Maybe I'll do somebody else or go back to Crom and have him use some of this. We'll see. This is a work in progress for the fancy bows. I think the fancy bows are very nice. I don't know that there's any extreme advantage to them other than the fact that they look really cool. They do good damage. I don't know what else to tell you. I've been using it and it's been fun. So, Nightingale Forever. This gives you some cool Nightingale stuff. Sword and a shield. I'm trying to think. I think that's basically it. It gives you a very cool sword and like a little buckler shield. I really like it. So it's really nice. Okay, this is an armor mod. This is I guess that's Diano or Diano. However you want to say it. It's a very good armor mod. So it's really a very good armor mod. We have Dragonborn swords. I really like the look of these swords. So I've kept them, and I've actually used them on Elrus a lot, which means I should probably use these. But anyway, Thor's hammer, I've used that a lot for Sif. I like that. It's a lot of fun. Be careful about using the full strong hammer, as it has a huge AoE that can get you in a lot of trouble. I would recommend using the normal weapon that has no enchantment and just adding your enchantments yourself. That way you don't get in trouble if you're fighting a dragon in town or something where your AoE would accidentally hit the guards or a chicken, and everybody in town now hates you. That's happened to me before. Now this bow, I think this is probably, even though I like the fancy bows, they're really cool, I still think this may be my favorite bow, the Valiant Nord bow. It's really nice, and it comes with its own arrows. Everything matches up, and it looks really good. So it's a very nice mod. This is Black Wisteria. It's kind of a glass level armor, and it has a couple of versions. One is basically just a bikini version. The other version is still kind of skimpy, but it's black armor, which looks good for casters. Well, actually, it'd probably look good for anybody. Then there's the Matherian Viking shields. This is a really good mod just because it adds all these different shields you can use that look good in the game. And it also adds them, you can see them hanging in the bannered mare above the bar. And you'll see bandits using them. These shields look really nice, and they look like they belong in the game. They're very good. Face masks. Again, face masks. Well, it's debatable. I like them. It kind of makes, when you see them on bandits and stuff, it kind of makes sense. So, I've used them a little bit. I'm trying to think. It just depends on what you like. They're not anything Well, I like them. I think I find them to be in certain situations very suitable and very pleasing. But there are times when you may not want to use them. But they're small. It's a small mod. Armored circlets. This gives you some circlets that you can create rather than just the usual circlets in the game. These will have armor, and there will be light and heavy armor versions of them. So that's nice. This is a little mod that allows you to craft Nocturnal's clothes under miscellaneous, and it will allow you to do a light armor version and a no armor version. And depending on your armor replacer mod, these clothes will take that appearance. I guess that's all we can say about that. It doesn't actually change Nocturnal's clothes. It just allows you to craft them under miscellaneous at the forge. Improved blade stats. This just improves the stats on the blade's armor. What does it say? Does it say it's closer? Yeah, it makes it more like Daedric stats. Which it never made sense that the blade stats were so weak anyway. But that's just me. I like the blade's armor. Obviously, this person did too. It's a very small mod. It just just gives them a little more armor. I think it makes the sword a little more powerful too, but not drastically so. This allows you to craft at the forge. It makes it possible for you to craft the elven light armor and the ebony mail. Doesn't change their appearance or anything. It just adds it to your list at the forge so that you can craft them, and that's a nice simple little mod if you want to be able to do that. Now we're getting into some different mods. This takes your male bandits and replaces them with females. That's really about all there is to say about that. They'll have different names. It won't change anybody that's needed, like for a quest or something. But it will change. I think it changes almost. I mean, you'll end up with almost all your bandits being female. There'll be a few minor exceptions. Same here for the no generic Forsworn. The only issue with this I have sometimes is occasionally you'll get like a Briarheart that has a female's head and a male's body, but it's pretty rare, and you can pretty much ignore it. And do you really care? Once you kill them, it's over, and you can take the Briarheart and you're done anyway, so it's not that big a deal. So you'll rarely see that, but you will see it occasionally. I'm not sure if there's somewhere I could place this that would change that, but it's such a rare thing that I don't worry about it. The Ravens. Now the Ravens mod, one thing you have to know about this mod is that if you do this mod, it replaces all the hag ravens with these girls that look better. They're all casters, and they're basically hag ravens without the appearance of hag ravens. But somehow, if you really want to do the Companions quest line, this mod will break that quest line. So you should not use this mod if you're going to do the Companions quest line, or you can enable it after you're done with all the companion stuff, because then it won't hurt anything. But it really does. He says here he's not tested it, and this other stuff you can see in the big comments, but I've tested it. I've played through, and I actually tried doing the Companions quest line, and you'll get so far along, but then you get to that point where you're killing the hag ravens at the coven, and you'll go and you'll kill them, and you'll get the heads, and you'll actually kill these girls, the ravens. But somehow when you come back, the quest will not count as being done. You won't be able to talk to the appropriate people, and you can't finish the quest line from there. You're just stuck. So it does do that. It does work, though. Other than the fact that it breaks that quest line, it does work. And these girls look a lot better than the Hag Ravens, so, use it at your discretion. No generic male giants. This just replaces all the male giants with these giantess girls. And they do look a lot better. For all intents and purposes, though, they're basically the same. They're just girls instead of the big guys. I'm trying to think. You do get one half giant as a follower, and she'll be in Dragon's Reach. Yeah, I think that's about all there is to say there. Immersive Wenches. Now, this set of mods, Immersive Wenches adds a bunch of, well, it tells you right there, wenches and barmaids and stuff to the ends, which that's nice. It also gives you a couple of quests to go save some wenches from some slave traders, and I think that's the basics of that mod. To go with that mod, there's a little group of wenches mods. There's the Judgment Wenches, which these will be in the Dwemer dungeons. And these girls will be especially tough and outfitted with some very unique and cool armor and weapons. A lot of Ethereum weapons and stuff. So it's a very nice mod. And depending on as far as the wenches and all these other mods here about replacing those with girls, they'll all use your beautification mods. The only exception is they will not pick up on, like, I use KS Hairdos a lot, but they all still have vanilla hair. But I have a mod that helps improve vanilla hair, so it's not so bad. But like, there's no way for me to really get them to use the KS Hairdos. So that's just life. Then there's Hateful Wenches. Hateful Wenches are, think of them as the Draugr Wenches. They're just hateful. They hate you. And they will accompany the Draugrs in the Draugr tombs, and they will summon more Draugrs. Occasionally they will summon a big skeleton champion, and it's a very cool little mod. And this one's small, but it's very good, very effective, and it really makes your Draugr dungeons harder. Deadly Wenches, really this affects bandits and the guards, and what else do they say? Stormcloaks, Imperials, Forsworn, Vampires, Vigilance. It affects all of those. It makes a lot of the women that you face as enemies a lot tougher, and it gives them some pretty cool abilities. Still, again, another very small mod. I think the reason Judgment Wenches is so big is because it adds a lot of custom armor and those weapons I mentioned, the Ethereum weapons and stuff. But I could be wrong. There could be other reasons. I know it adds some custom armor pieces that you can use on your character once you loot it. Forgotten Wenches, these are the Falmer version of Wenches. And these are kind of sadder and a little on the gross side, but they're also a real pain. If you use this, they really generate a lot more bugs in the Farmer dungeons. A lot more bugs, like a lot. Forgotten Wenches will spawn more Chorus too on spawn. And default is 50%. So I think you can go in and adjust that, but it's a lot. And the farmers also, when they die, there's a 50% chance that they will spawn one of these Forgotten Wenches. So it really makes your farmer battles a lot harder, and you get a lot of bugs. So just be aware. Ashara merchants and traders in the inns. This is good if you need, like me, if you need to be able to sell a bunch of stuff to somebody. This Xenia is in almost every. She is in almost every inn in Skyrim, and she will usually have about 30,000 gold to buy all your junk, which is very good. And she will usually, depending on which inn she's in, she will offer to train you in some skill, and it varies depending on the inn you're in. I hate saying that like that. It varies based on the inn or the town inn that you are. I can't say it any other way but in. There's probably a better word. Nonetheless, you get the idea. And then we have the Genesis mod here for dynamically increasing. Let me see. It's supposed to help increase your dungeons. Let's see. It will not populate dungeons already containing NPCs. Oh, but this will repopulate dungeons. Like if you clear a dungeon and you come back to it later, it should repopulate. It'll also repopulate chests and different things. Sometimes what's funny is that some of the multi-level dungeons, as you go down in the dungeon and you clear the levels, sometimes when you come back out to that first level, it will repopulate that first level so that you'll have to fight your way out of the dungeon. And it's not bad. Usually it's pretty fun, and a lot of times, I'm trying to remember, I seem to remember a lot of times it repopulates them with bandits or casters, something different. So that can be fun. And then I think this is the same people, the populated dungeons, caves, and ruins. This just adds more population to certain dungeons and caves. And I think that's all I can really say about that. It looks like it adds about 300 enemies, skeletons, vampires, etc. Then the Genesis surface spawns. This is so that occasionally when you're running around on the surface, you'll get some extra encounters. It's usually bandits, not always. It can be vampires. I think it can be Thor too. Let's see, a lot of variety. Okay, only spawns bandits during the daytime, and then at night you could get vampires, werewolves. Okay, so it's only bandits during the daytime. Okay, so I misspoke. But during the nighttime you could get vampires, werewolves, undead, afflicted, and still bandits. But that's why. Okay, this is the mod that's responsible. There's been a few times I've had a lot of werewolf attacks, and I was like, where are all these werewolves coming from? Okay, that explains it. Well, that made the game more interesting when that was happening. Alright, so this is my NPC replacer. And these two pieces make up what they just call Botox. And it just takes your NPCs and makes them look way better. Tons better. Lots better. Terrifically better. I'm trying to think. Now, it does not affect mod NPCs unless those NPCs are copied from the vanilla NPCs, and it's a little hard to explain, but this changes all the vanilla NPCs. And that updates them to look really good. Now, if you have mod NPCs that are based off of those vanilla NPCs, like they copy Serana, or they copy Vex, or they copy Sapphire, or something like that, those will have this effect. However, when it comes to like the immersive wenches, they actually created, at least it seems, that they created their own girls, so that those really always have the vanilla look and the vanilla hair. They still get some of my benefit of my beautification mods, but they don't get benefit of this in particular. Then there's the enhanced Atronachs, and this allows them to level, and it makes them more powerful and more useful. It also makes them harder if you're fighting against them, but that was a trade-off I was willing to deal with. It's a lot of fun, and these do glow, so if you're in a cave or something like Frosty there, he will be really bright and brighten up a room. It's pretty good as a torch. Female mannequins, just what it says. It just changes all the mannequins to be females. I think this one, yeah, this one changes them all to look like Elisif the Fair. You know, the Jarl of Solitude. I don't know why I was having trouble with that. And this is a minus weight adjustment. It just brings her up to a weight of 100. I don't have any issues with that. It works fine for me. This is a follower, and I've shown this follower before. She's in Dragon's Reach, and you can take her outfit and make copies of it for yourself and for your followers so that you all have this pretty hefty girl. If you want that, you can certainly do that. This is Scylla follower. She is also in Dragon's Reach, and she's pretty, I mean, she's normal. She looks good. She uses whatever bodies you normally use. So she doesn't have a unique body. Really, you're just getting a head, and then it's going to use whatever your beautification mods are. She does come with some certain equipment there and stuff. And if you have, pardon me, if you have amazing follower tweaks, you can teach her certain spells and different things. Then there's Ciri. And I think she is from, if I recognize her correctly, she is from, or patterned after the Witcher Ciri. If I'm wrong, somebody can let me know. But she's at the inn, the Wind Peak Inn in Dawnstar. This is I think this is a head only. Yeah, this is a head only, and it's really good. It doesn't contain any texture or anything, so that you don't get... I know he says neck seams and all that are possible. I don't get that. I don't get any lines. I don't get any neck seam because there's no texture or anything with it that conflicts. So, some of the other, now this is JWD Justin White Designs. This modder has a couple of these head only mods. The ones that don't have any texture in them work the best. So this is one of those. Let's see, what's this? This is not. This is what's this name? Cicero. It's supposed to be like Cicero, but a female version. What does it say here? Oh, I can't see the rest of it. But anyway, this is like the female Cicero. She looks a bit like kind of like a harlequin, and there's not a lot to tell. She's just a good follower. This is she's not standalone, but she has a weight. Let me see if I can find that. They mention here, yeah, they mention here that her weight is 0. Now I haven't tested that out to see if she's really weight 0. That would make her very tiny, and I really thought this was a head only follower mod, which is what I prefer. That way they'll use the body that I have and the textures I have. But I'm not finding that mentioned here, but it's very small. I can't believe she really has a body and textures and stuff with 2.82 megabytes. That just does not compute or add up. So I'll have to check that out again. It's been a while. This is a new one. And I've forgotten the name for this too. Lynn, what is that? Lynn, what? Oh, they don't say. Well, that's alright. Doesn't matter. I haven't tried this one out. I haven't checked it out at all, except I have it loaded. Where's she supposed to be? She is supposed to be the Drunken Huntsman. There you go. Everybody likes to be in Whiterun. That's okay, though. So, we'll have to try that out later. Now, Shaw, I've tried out. She's in the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood. This is one of the best. Even though it's just a head-only mod, this is one of the best followers as far as I like that look, because I guess I like long, dark hair. So, anyway, yeah, it says she is in the Sleeping Giant Inn, and she will use any body and textures you have, which I think that's how all of these work, honestly. That's why I like these, is they're all that way. Now, Shinobi has her own thing. I think if you remove her costume, then she will use your body and stuff, but you'd have to look at her. She kind of has her own style, the way she's created. So, then there's Jarl Elisif. Now, what this is this is a copy of the Jarl Elisif that is available as a follower, and I think this is another Imperial Agent mod. And I don't know, he doesn't say it here, I don't think, but she is basically she's in the Blue Palace when you go in the front door. She's right there in that little waiting room area, and she will look however your replacer mods have her set to look. So she will get the benefit of all your beautification mods, and like I have a mod that makes her look like Takata, which I'll show you that when I get there, so that she looks extra good. If you like the way Takata looks, which I do. So, okay, so now we're getting into my beautification mods, and this is mainly for my character, because all the other stuff above here is NPC stuff. The whole load order, the way I have things broken out, I tried to follow a certain logical pattern that is presented in, it's on the Bethesda forums about load order and how to try to do your load order. This is probably not perfect, but it has been working really well for me, and I have things grouped as best I can, and go through things in kind of a logical progression. You could say the logic is questionable at times, but you'll notice like all my followers are grouped together. I try to group things together in blocks. Anyway, so this is KS Hairdos Light. It provides you a good number of hairdos. I cannot afford, space-wise, the huge KS hairdos, the full one. It's too much. This is my male's body, kind of a superhero-looking body. I chose the no-hair version. It's very nice. Not much to say about that. This is the girl's body I chose. There's no true armor replacer that goes with this body now, but I kept this body anyway because it has, I don't know, it has its own appeal, and the little underwear is different, so I find it to be appealing. This is the superior lore-friendly hair for like my immersive wenches and wenches that don't have the special hairdos. They still have the vanilla hair. This saturates and makes that hair look better. So at least they have better looking hair, which is nice. Here I use the teeth mod. Basically, it just tries to make their teeth and mouth and things look better and work better. It doesn't totally get rid of the lip sync issue, but it does mention that it helps, and I think it does. I think it does help some. I don't usually get, with this mod, I don't usually get that, where if you ever get that where your NPC is stuck with their mouth open and they really look at you really funny. This, I think I've not had this happen since I've been, since I've been using this mod. Or at least it happens a lot less frequently. Natural eyes replaces the eyes. I find this one, for the size, it is a very good eye mod, and the eyes look very nice. I don't need, super deluxe eyes. I just need nice looking eyes and some colors to choose from, and that's cool. I used these female presets here, and the mod will tell you that how many, let's see, I think it tells you, let me see. I think it tells you how many presets you get for each race. Maybe it's further up. Maybe I shouldn't have scrolled down so quickly. Anyway, okay, the R246 presets will occupy the first 4 or 5 presets for each supported race. These are only human, I believe. Let's see, female. Anyway, I think it says it here somewhere. Anyway, I think it's just the human races. You can read more of this, but Anyway, I like these presets. They're very good. And along with my other beautification mods, they do the job for me. I use this concept. The concept is only for Nords, and you need it at the bottom of the other presets, because if you flip these two here, they will conflict. But if you have this one at the bottom, you'll get all the Nord presets, which I think there's like 10, and you'll still get the other human presets, which there are less of, but they're still useful, like if you want to play a Breton. Let's see, this is better male presets. They didn't make a lot of these, but you can read at the bottom, it's got a few for each race, and I think they're human races, of course. But no, wait, let's see. Also got also got orc and elf presets, so not just human. I really think these are just human. I don't even think these include elf presets. Anyway, even if they do, they don't have fantastic ones. I still, my elves, I still end up playing around with and making them the way I want them to look. Anyway, so these are better male presets. I use these if I play a guy like Crom. Now this vanity kit, this gives you, it lists what it gives you. It gives you a lot of hair colors, makeup colors, skin colors, all that stuff. I really use the skin color, the hair colors. I use the war paint colors occasionally. I'm trying to think. I don't think I really mess with makeup. But nonetheless, it gives you a lot of options, and it's very nice. Then here we get into my skin textures, which is still part of the beautification mods, but the textures need to be below nearly everything else to work out right. And I use this Beauties of Skyrim. There is an HD version, but I've never found a need to go beyond this version, because this version is very good, and I don't, well, like I said, I just didn't find a need to go beyond this. And this is for vampires. It also does your vampires so that they look better. Then we get into Skyland, which Skyland is something I've been running lately. I just wanted to see how it looked, because the modder who makes the Skyland mods has completed so many new mods in this series over the past couple of years that I just wanted to see. It's been a while since I had used this. I used the lighter version for the core, and then I add on the other Skyland mods like Whiterun and Markarth. And you can tell all these are different, like the stone textures change, the color of the stone in Markarth changes, the wood colors in Whiterun are different. I find that the wood textures for the buildings and different things, they look more realistic and more like real weathered wood. Now your Markarth, the stone is brighter. I will say that I like it, but it might be a little too bright, but I do like it. So it looks pretty cool in its own way. I'm trying to think. I believe it also makes the Dwemer metals look a little better, but if you want to use other Dwemer metal mods, you can, because if you're looking for a real shiny look or something, I don't think it does that. Anyway, Solitude looks really good. I'm just going to go through these. Riften looks nice. Like I said, all the wood buildings and everything look more rustic and realistic. And then the Nordic ruins really look, all the old Draugr temples and everything, they really look like they're ancient and falling apart, and like you're going through something that has been around a long, long, long time. I don't know exactly what he's done there, but the way it looks just really looks like you're in an ancient old place. So, and not that the other texture mods that people have done don't do a good job, but for me, his Nordic ruins, this modder, they've really got the feel of it. Imperial forts and dungeons, those are also good. the ships and shacks, which I keep wanting to say ships and snacks, but it's ships and shacks. This is very good. Again, it goes back to that wood texture a lot. It just looks very realistic and good. The Winterhold. This one's small because there's not a lot in Winterhold. You basically replace the wood and roof textures of the buildings, and you're pretty much done. It's very good, very nice. Oh, I'm getting the little image glitch. Just ignore that. Towns and villages again. That's good. Mountains. This is an optional thing. The regular Skyland has its own mountain appearance, but this gives you, let's see, he says it adds a deeper, darker color and slightly more details. I think it's a little more foreboding, or a little, I don't know, but they look very cool. Maybe that's not the right way to say it, but they look very nice. I like the Whiterun cobblestone street. That's cool. And I looked at some of the HD road signs yesterday, and it's nice. Those are nice. The watercolor is really great. This is the only water mod I've ever been able to use. All it does is add a nice little blue tint that somehow that really makes the water look really nice. I don't use realistic waters or anything like that, but this really makes a big difference. And then I'm using this. I'm not 100% sure exactly how this works, but it seems to work, and it seems to look really good. Then I have my world map, which is these two mods basically. And it's a really good map. It shows the roads. It really shows, it's a real map. It's not like the vanilla map, which is basically unusable for the most part, especially once you see something like this. Then I have, this is my Serana replacer. I think, does this one replace her and Valerica? Yes. Yeah. And it looks really nice. This is a head-only version, so they still use your body and textures. This is Elisif replacer. It makes her look like Takata. It's a head-only thing, so it's very nice, like I was talking about earlier. So then that Elisif follower also looks like this. Somehow it all goes together. Now these replacers that you're seeing here, though, for some reason they would not work up with my other NPC stuff, where I usually group all my NPC stuff together. But I found that if I moved them down here below my texture mods, then for some reason they all work. I cannot explain it. I'm just telling you, that's the way it works. For me, that's what happened. So if I have these higher up above my beautification mods, they all look horrible. Or they just don't work. Sometimes they just have no effect. But if I move them down here, then they work. This is an Uthgard makeover. This is the best Uthgard makeover I can find. Nobody else makes Uthgard look decent. Everybody else has her looking really scary and mainly too manly for my for my face. I mean, wow. Anyway, and then this is Mjol. Again, she just never seems to look good, but I found this facelift, or whatever you want to call it, and it gives her black hair, and I think she looks a lot better like that. And that's purely, these are purely subjective, you know. And then this is a little patch for the chaos hairdos for the physics movement. Alternate start. This just gives you the option of starting your game differently, so that you don't have to go through the whole vanilla thing, and you can actually start your game and play, and you don't ever have to do the Dragonborn stuff if you don't want to. The Alduin stuff or the dragon stuff. You can, if you don't use always dragons, you don't even have to have dragons in your game. So, I mean, this gives you a good flexible way to start and play and role play and have a good time with your character doing something different. It appeals to me, just so I get to do something different. This is, you need this skeleton and realistic, what do they call it? Realistic ragdolls. You need this for the physics, the other physics, the jiggle stuff and all that to work. So you have to have this. Matter of fact, if you're getting armors, downloading armor mods, and every time you put the chest piece on, your game crashes, it's probably because you don't have this mod, and you need it. And you need it low, like I have it. And there's something that goes with it, this. You need this as well. If you have a chest piece that supports that kind of jiggle animation, but you don't have these two mods, your game's going to crash. These are small mods. You really just need them. You should just always have them. It just saves you a lot of trouble. If you don't have these mods, you really have to avoid any physics or jiggling stuff, which are in a lot of mods, and you know, it's just a fact of life. You're better off just to go ahead and have them. They're very small. Let's see, invisible helmets. It only works for all the vanilla helmets, but it does make them invisible, and I use that all the time. So that most of my followers do not wear any kind of hood or anything. This you also need just because this weird glitch happens, and there's no real rhyme or reason or control to it, but for some mods, this weird orange color patch will appear. It happens a lot with doors. And anyway, this mod removes that so that you don't see that weirdness, because it's very weird. This is a mod that you have to think about if you really want it. It allows you to drop all your quest items. It will also allow you to accidentally sell all your quest items. So you really have to think about what you have, and if you really want to get rid of something. When in doubt, have like a chest in your home or something and just dump stuff in there if you think it's a quest item and you might need it later. That way you don't lose it. And that's just my best advice. Another thing you can do is have cheat room. Cheat room will have, from my experience so far, all the quest items. There could be some rare exceptions, so be aware. But this will allow you to throw down any quest item that you normally can't throw down, but it also allows you to sell it. So that's, you know, good and bad. This is supposed to take and replace a lot of guys, just generic guys, with females. Now, it says, very simple, I changed most generic males for females, but they do not touch specific males of quests or dialogue encounters. So, I have this here. I'm not really sure that I need it all that much, because you saw I had the other replacers up above. But I've kept this here in case, I don't know, in case, like, this is, how do I say it? This is a very small mod, and I think this mod tries to do that programmatically, whereas I think RSmith 7, at least on the big Bandits one and a couple of the others, he was trying to he was trying to create individuals, so it's a lot bigger mod, and it does a lot. Now, it could be that I could replace those mods with this, but he gave them specific names, and I like those names and stuff, so I've always kept them. I keep this just in case there's something else that could be changed that would be missed. Is it necessary? Probably doubtful, but I kept it anyway. If it doesn't hurt anything, I'm okay with it. This is just an idle so that the girls don't stand and twirl, because I think it's this animation mod will make your girls want to stand and twirl all the time, and it's very annoying. So I like this little idle where they just stand fairly normal looking stand and don't do anything weird. It also helps during character creation, or if you decide to change your character, because if they're twirling and you're trying to update their face, it can be annoying. This just replaces the normal Azura shrine with a much, much huge, bigger one. It's fun though. I just do it because I like the idea of it being huge. You can see it from a long ways off. Rich Merchants. This is a great little mod. I do always keep it at the bottom. If you raise it up higher in the game, for some reason it doesn't work as well. I don't know what interferes with it. But down here, all your vanilla vendors will have like 10,000 gold. Sometimes more based on your speech perks and all. But anyway, so they'll have, 10,000 gold, which is great for when you want to sell stuff. Let's see. So here we have the unlimited summons, and this really just changes the conjuration perk tree a little bit so that you can increase your max summons and you get a ridiculous amount of summons, which I would never recommend you using 1,000 summons. I'm sure that would break your game. But let's see, I did have six Atronachs with me at one time, along with some skeletons and a couple of dead thralls. So it makes quite an army. And you can do that for fun. Like if you're doing the Civil War, that might be a good time to have a bunch of followers, and to make your battle look really cool and fun. Okay, so this gives me, with my other mods, this gives me a light blade shield. Now, in combination with my other mods, I have two blade shields. I have this light one, and I have a normal heavy one. However, if you don't have all the crazy mods I do, it may just change your normal shield, heavy blade shield, to a light blade shield. So just be aware of that. For me, since I have a couple of different mods that allow me that try to add the blades armor to my crafting, I actually, in the crafting section, I actually have two blades armors that are there and available to be created. And so, since it has two shields, one of them will be light and one will be heavy. But I'm pretty sure if I turned off one of those mods that adds the blade shield, the blades armor and stuff to the crafting menu, then I would only have one selection, and then I would only have a light blade shield. So in my case, I get away with this. It's kind of a cheat in a cheat. But if you don't have all those crafting mods that I do to add all that stuff, like the unique armors and other things, then you may find that this just changes your shield from heavy to light. This is proper aiming, which I'm still fooling around with, and mainly seems to work. I'm saying mainly. It doesn't work for your channeling spells, which they do say it doesn't work for that. It really seems to work for archery, but here just a little while ago fighting that dragon, there was a few times I wasn't sure that it was really spot on. Okay, so now these are the mystery mods. I just saw them, they're work in progress, and I downloaded them. I have no idea what they do. If I can't figure them out, I may delete them. But I just thought, I'll try them. With no description, and I don't know why they put these up with no description. But they took the time to put a picture. But with no description, I don't know what these do. So, if I find out, I will let you know. Otherwise, these will disappear into the night, and that will be the end of it. So that is, and I'm sorry this took so long. It takes a long time to go through 46 mods. So that's my whole load order. That's all my mods and what I can tell you about them. I am not a mod expert. I can only tell you about my experiences and what I've done. If you look through at other mods, like I don't like sweat, so I don't ever use these. But you'll notice that if you like this skin type, it's a smaller file size than the one I'm using. You could use it and try it. I don't like sweat. I don't want everybody to look sweaty and wet. I'm odd. It's like I don't use this. Some people really love this and they use this. As a matter of fact, a lot of people use this. They like having the extra blood. And I'm just like, I don't need it. It's fine. Let's see. I don't use that. I don't want everybody to look like they're got a six-pack. And I don't want them to look shiny and sweaty. I know, I'm just so particular. Let's see, what else? Oh, but since we're talking about skin textures, there are some you can look up. Let me see. Give me just a second. I think let's try fair skin, because that may not be what everybody likes. That's what is liked a lot. And I don't think of this as having anything to do with the color of the skin so much as just the smoothness and the youthful look. I could be wrong, I suppose, but that's how I think of it. Let's see. So, unofficial pigeon player textures. Okay, this has a lot of stuff in it. It's not just one thing. I was looking to see if there was a smaller alternative. Simply glisten. I don't know about this. This is probably add specular maps to make them glisten so they sweat. Okay, I don't want to see sweat. Okay, here's one I was thinking of. You might be able to use one of these fair skin replacers. This is an HD one, so it's really huge. So, okay, I would not recommend that because it's just so huge. And I think that makes it difficult on you. Let's see, this is sweaty and sweaty. I don't want sweaty. Hold on, let's move on. I think there's one here somewhere that doesn't have that problem. This is HD curvy. How big is that? Oh, that's still really big. That's HD. I'm pretty sure there's one that is curvy and non-curvy and isn't HD and isn't huge. Okay, like this is curvy. Right, and this is 7.68. Now, I tested this one time, and I thought it was good. I'm trying to remember. There was some reason I dropped it. And they may have fixed that reason, whatever it was. But there was a problem. It says no black noise, but I had a feeling back when I tried it a long time ago, it'd still be worth trying, that there was a problem with some blackness showing somewhere. Anyway, this would be worth maybe giving a try if you don't want to use the larger one that I use, which is like the one is 50 some meg, and then it's like 6 or 7 more for vampires. So you could try this one, and it will get you. I think it will get you most of the way there. I'm not sure it's exactly going to do the same thing, but it's a much smaller file size, so you could find that to be satisfactory. I don't use the CBBE stuff in Skyrim. I do in Fallout, but I don't in Skyrim. I prefer other stuff. There's this. If you don't do the big curvy, you could do this. But the funny thing is, this is larger than this, and I have no idea why. It doesn't make sense. We would have to check with the modder on that, I guess. Nonetheless, so that was about the skin. I would not recommend trying to have 2 different textures, one for face and one for body, because you can never get them to match, and then you always have this little line at the neck that is very annoying. It's best just to use one thing and let it do everything. That's why I don't like my followers to have a face texture. What's this? That's not too big. Depending on what you like, you might like that. It's not HD, so it's not huge. You just have to experiment with those. I haven't tried those out in a long time. I could try them out, though. This is the HD version of that. Well, it's not huge. It's only 80, close to 90 meg, whereas mine is like 50 something. Let's see. Is there anything else? Body replacers. I've tried a lot of these body replacers. They're actually all pretty good. Whether you use Seraphim. Seraphim's pretty good. It's nice. You can use that. What was the other one we saw? Was there a 7 base one here? I've used that one before. Yeah, I've used that one before. It's good. I haven't used this. I'm sure it's probably fine. Yeah, but I haven't used it. I don't know why this is more realistic. I don't know. For some girls, I'm sure it is, but not for everybody. Depends on what you like, anyway. Alright, so I think I should end this. I've gone on way too long about the same stuff. Let's see if there's anything of interest. This is the cheat room, which you should probably... it's so small, I would recommend everybody always have the cheat room. It's just a little bitty mod that allows you to do so much. I don't know about all these tweaks. I looked at that earlier, but I wasn't going to do that. Let's see. Weapons of the Shogunate. I haven't seen that. That must be fairly new. Raxix 7. Is that Raxinate? That might be. That might be worth looking at. It looks pretty good. It's 20 meg. Oh, I'm getting the little picture glitch. So 18 versions of 11 authentic base Japanese weapons. So yeah, it's I like katanas though. It's interesting. I might have to try that out. Okay. I know I'm quickly running out of mods that I can put in my game. That's what, 147, like a doofus. I'm just like, eventually I'm just going to hit the 150 mark. And it's going to be like, nope, no more mods for you. Go away. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else different or new of interest. I looked earlier and I didn't see anything new, but now I'll see that Shogunate was there. The rest of this has been out here for at least a day or two. Now, there were a bunch of new work in progress mods, which was like where I got those two. And then there's these, but these are too big. Right now with all my mods, I'm too full for those. And I don't know what I don't know what this one is. Dank meme. And I don't know. I just worry that that's going to be something that I will regret downloading. So I did not. I'm usually curious about things, but in that case, I decided I was not that curious. This is a work in progress mod, so. All right. Well, that's it. That's everything I got. I've got to go get some breakfast. So I'm going to hop off here. And thanks for watching. And hope you have a good day. Catch you later.